that I've noticed about myself and my business of how I've been able to make it through the markets is I'm still living in the house I bought 20 years ago, right? I never upgraded my house. I could have easily had done it, but when the market pulls the rug out from underneath you, then you're facing bankruptcy, right? You stack up the debts and try to flex. I mean, I drive Toyotas. I got a Tundra and a 4Runner. They're paid off. Like we had lunch yesterday and there was a Bentley, a Ferrari, and all these sexy cars. And I'm just smiling, looking at them like, I could have you if I wanted, but I'd rather have a house, right?
Yeah,
I built a house for
yeah,
350. It's worth 550. It's like I can't buy a Ferrari. I guess no, there's a different story to that, right?
yeah,
I can't buy just
yeah,
a
right.
regular exotic and then a year later sell it for 100 more than what I paid for it. So
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hello. Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I am your host, Q Edmonds, and I have someone here today. Man, I'm so excited to dive into the way he look at things. Y'all know what I say all the time. What brings me great joy is to peek at life through someone else's lens, especially when we talk about real estate. And this guy, his lens is a very artistic lens, a design lens. Like it's the way he sees things is really not like the way we do. I mean, maybe other artists can really relate, but this guy has a from photography lens, the way he staged things, the way he can bring things to life and allow it to breathe so other people can see the vision is just stunning. And so I'm excited for us to look through things through his lens. And so I want to introduce you all to Mr. Ian Flannigan. Mr. Ian, how you doing today, sir?
I'm doing well, Q. How are you, man?
Man, doing good, doing good. Happy to be here, happy to be alive, happy to talk to you. And so I'm being honest with you, Mr. Ian. I don't want to waste any time. I want you to take us into your world. Tell us what your main focus is these days. If you want to give us a bit of an origin story about how you got started, we love origin
Okay,
stories.
we can do
And
that.
then tell them what part of the world you in, man. And so you got the floor,
Okay.
sir.
Well, cool, man. It's so funny. I tell people this when I talk to them on the phone that I'm 50 years old, but I sound like a 15-year-old teenage girl. Always get a good chuckle out of that. But, my journey started just like a lot of people's journey, reading books. And, Rich Dad, Poor Dad was the very first one that piqued my interest. I was cutting hair back then, hairdresser full time. And then after I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I was like, oh my gosh, I've got to get into real estate. I've got to find a way to get off this working hamster wheel, trading dollars for hours. So that's where it started for
Mm-hmm.
me. And really everything that we're doing today is kind of comes from those principles. Started wholesaling and then rehabbing houses. And I partnered with some guys that had some capital, and then we renovated a lot of houses. And then I shifted into owner financing because we wanted to keep the houses that we were, doing, because transactional money is great, but you're not building wealth unless you're holding it, right? You got to stack the chips over time. So we shifted into that and did hundreds of transactions when owner financing, and then made an exit out of that company. The years are just flying by in this conversation, but Decided to get a real estate license 10 years ago, and that decision has catapulted me into where we are today. That's allowed me to do a lot of things and meet some pretty incredible people. So I focused on the brokerage side. And at that time, I really kind of took a step back. I owned some properties, but I wasn't trying to grow an investment portfolio. I was really focused on growing a brokerage. So, building a team of real estate agents specifically for residual income. There's
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
You can buy so many houses, but once you get up to 5, 10, 8 houses, it really becomes a challenge. And to continue to grow that was where I didn't want to go down, because holding rental properties is brutal if you don't have a pile of money. So I focused on the brokerage side. And when I say residuals, if those of you that understand how brokerages work, there's a split. There's a commission and then there's a split, right? And then you can split them out multiple ways. So we happen to tap into a model that allowed us to get really nice residuals off of real estate agents. So we built that and we grew it into a monster. So they're literally closing over 400 transactions every month. And it's just unbelievable, even in the slower market now. So that's a big part of my business, is still focused on running a production team here in DFW and then supporting other agents around the country and helping them grow as well. And then the investing side, I call it my walkabout. At the end of 2023, there's a lot of uncertainty in the market. Interest rates climbed up. There was a lot of commission lawsuits that really had a lot of people scared. They didn't know what was going to happen, how it was going to shake out. So I unwound out of all my online marketing and the things that we were doing with our virtual assistants. And I wanted to focus on becoming that principal again, being the one that owned the houses, which I had a small portfolio, but I wanted to specifically focus on new construction and short-term rentals, short to mid-term rentals, fully furnished homes that I could charge premiums for. And that all started back in 2024, really the beginning of 24. I bought a lot, built a house, so on and so forth. So now I operate a small portfolio of Airbnbs that are just stunning, but they're brand new homes. So that really separates them from mostly the homes in the market. And then, my building partners, we have multiple properties on the ground right now, anywhere from 400,000 up to 4 million. So new construction is the focused on the investing side. So back to the rich dad, poor dad, right? I was an employee when I was a kid, and then I became self-employed, hairdresser, real estate agent, and all that. And then building the real estate brokerage has really plugged me into that B quadrant, which is the other side, a large organization that generates money with or without you. You can leave, go to sleep, but the machine is still working. So I leveraged a brokerage to create that for myself.
Yeah.
Tapped in, just hit it hard. So that's just incredible. And also that stabilized my income so I can get construction loans. So there was a big strategy behind that too, with, your tax returns and your net operating income and all those things. And then playing in the investing side, which is taking your money and making it grow. So I live on the BNI side now, but it didn't happen overnight. It took a long time.
Wow. Mr. Ian, sir, thank you, man. Thank you for walking us up to where you are today, how you got to the success you got to today. And I picked out several strategies that you actually dropped on us that's really helped you get to where you are today. And I know those are business strategies. I want to talk about some personal strategies, because I love the way it seemed like you are leveraging every tool that you have to actually find success. Like, you find whatever part of life you were in, you added that part to the next part, to the next
Yep.
part, to the next
Pretty
part.
much.
That's how it seems to me, right? And so, are there any personal strategies that you can point to that you can say, yes, this is definitely a strategy that I've used or that I continue to use that keeps me focused, that keeps me looking at the target, that keeps me growing, that tells me when to stop, tells me when to go? Are there any personal strategies that you can look at that that really helps you with the way you think and the way you go about
So
things?
what's kind of ringing around in my mind as you ask that question is communication. So, and where I'll go with that is communication is so important in our business and just life in general. So learning how to sell, learning psychology of selling, right? Asking questions, right? If you're not asking questions, you're just shooting yourself in the foot, right? You don't go for what you want right up front.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
So the psychology of negotiating and just having conversations in general, I think has sharpened my skill set to where when I communicate with people, it's clear, it's open, it's honest, right? And if I want something or if I want a certain outcome, which is to set an appointment with you to do next steps or something like that, I'll strategically work that into a conversation, then they will never see it coming. So I think having a skill set of sales, but also the psychology of sales, right? You can't just, whatever you're selling, right? You can't just throw it in people's faces. You have to indirectly educate them so they're curious about what you're doing. So it's like that with anything, right? Top of funnel content is king, so on and so forth. And where do you go to get that? Well, you collaborate with people. You pay for coaching. You go to high level training events. You surround yourself with people that are doing what you want to do because they're all going to have a unique story and unique ability. And as you know this, and people listening too, you've gone to an event, you see someone on stage, and you're like, they blow your mind, the way they talk, the way they articulate. So I think that communication is so critical. And I remember being a newbie in the beginning, and I was so scared to talk to people because I didn't know what I didn't know.
Mm,
Right. So even now when I'm coaching agents and other folks, it's just like, look, if someone asks you a question you don't know, acknowledge that you don't know it. Hey, that's a great question, Q. But you know what? Let me get with my partner, and we'll circle back with that. So having the confidence to say, hey, I don't know exactly, but you know what? I'm going to find out, and we're going to get that question answered for you. So, having people that you can reach out to collaborate with. So I think one of my superpowers, which one of my coaching mentors over the years have said, is my superpower has been networking. And I think that I developed the gift of gab from waiting tables and being
mm,
in the hair business,
mhm,
constantly starting conversations with strangers. If you're nervous to pick up the phone and call somebody, right, then you can't be. You have to be a people person, especially in real estate, because that's all it is. It's leaning into people and nurturing people and helping them get what they want, and ultimately you'll get what you want.
mm. Listen, Ian, so you said so many things that parallels where I'm at in my thinking. I say within this season, right? 2026 is right on us, and I just had a brunch sit down with my mentor over the weekend, and I told him for me this is the season of me being curious about everything, curious about what makes me tick, curious about other people. And I told him, I said, for a long time I would be scared to be curious because I didn't want to confront what would come up. Like I was scared because it's like, do I start, second guessing my abilities? Like, do I start second guessing my confidence? But now I am embracing the season of being curious. And whatever that curiosity brings me to, now I'm confronting exactly what's in front of me. And I love how you talked about, just being curious. And then you talked about people, because I always say people is the real currency. Like you invest enough in people, the money will come, legacy will come, clarity will come, or everything will come. And so I appreciate everything you said. It really strikes me specifically where I'm at right now. So I appreciate all those nuggets. I really do.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just so
And so
important. That's the thing that
mm,
just it's going to drive everything forward is your ability to communicate is so critical. So absorbing as much information as you can, from other people, books, podcasts, audiobooks, events, and just constantly pouring information in. So now you have a different perspective when you're talking. And then obviously the experience of being in real estate, it'll help mold that conversation going
Yeah.
forward too.
Yeah, absolutely. I tell people all the time, communication is a 55-38-7 rule to communication. 55% is body language, 38% is tone, 7% is actually what you say. So when you talk about connecting with people, I know a lot of people, we do things overline or online, and to each his own. But when you're having that in person interaction, make sure your body language tells the person what you're saying matters to me. And so I try to make sure if I'm standing talking to somebody, I want my 2 feet to be pointed directly towards them to let them know I'm not trying to escape. I'm not trying to get anywhere. You have my total attention. So I'll make sure my body language is with on what you're saying. My tone is making sure, okay, like, I'm making sure you understand that my tone is one that's here in the present. And then before I say anything, I want to make sure that's taken care of because now my words will carry weight. And so
Yeah.
I'm just saying again, when you talk about communication, I'm just trying to highlight what you're saying about communication is so, so important. And I want people to understand this is why Mr. Ian is successful because one of his key strategies is communication. And sir, I think I told you I didn't synthesize it just like this, but I said it's something about you, the way you talk is so refreshing. And it makes sense to me now because you have mastered the art of communication in so many different ways and how to communicate in so many different arenas through the different tools that you've had that you developed through life. And so sorry to just go on that whole little diatribe, but I
Yeah, that's the way
appreciate
it
you. I
goes.
appreciate you saying communication, man. I really do.
Yeah, it's so important.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Yeah, absolutely. So listen, I know things have not always been easy. You make it look easy, but I know it hasn't always been easy. So what are some of the adversities that maybe you faced as you was building your success?
I mean, that's endless. I mean, every day is a failure, and it just depends on how you view it. I think just the unwavering dream of wanting to create something different, and I think that most people will give up on that. And the thing that's most important is your self-talk, right? What's the narrative in your mind? What is your mind telling you about a situation? Because I've been punched in the face a bunch in business, and it's depending on how you react to that. So the mindset is so important. I grew up really poor, and I wanted something different. I didn't want to be standing behind a chair, cutting hair, being a barber when I was 70, 80 years old. I just wanted something different. I've always been an artist. I've always been that kind of free spirit, but I also knew that there's an opportunity to build something special. And I think for me, it was just that unwavering belief that I'm going to get to the goal. And no matter what, no matter what, no matter what, no matter what, failure's not an option. There isn't nobody saving me. I don't have family that's going to write a check, right? Like it's, I've got to make this happen. So I think that's what it was for me. And it was just that hunger and that fire in my belly that kept the communication coming in. I mean, when I say communication, kept information coming in through communication. So even now, I'm humble enough to know that I don't know everything, and every day is a learning experience, especially in the construction game, because that is completely different, especially development. And I got a taste of that over the last few years being in some multifamily deals, ground up construction. So I think just being hungry and just never wanting to give up is what has really gotten me there. Now, obviously, there's been challenges with deals and transactions and people, and that's just the way real estate goes. But are you gonna fight or are you gonna flight? So you got to stick in there and fight. So no matter what it is, even something and simple ones. I mean, I'm in the middle of a negotiation right now on a house that I built, and I have to be patient. We're in a different market now. Buyers have a lot of, you know, um, a lot of options. There's not, 3 houses. Now there's 300 houses for them to
Yeah.
choose from. So we're in a negotiation, and right now, so I just have to be really patient. I have to let them go at their pace. But anyway, so I hope that answered the question. I know I kind of get off on some different things, but
No,
yeah.
sir. It
Yeah.
more than answered the question, man. And I said it before. I'll say it again. There's something about when you communicate. It just is very refreshing. It's very, very
Well,
refreshing.
thank you.
Like you come off somebody just not talking like you're practice. It seems you're practicing what you preach, and it just is very, very refreshing just to listen to you talk. And so, Mr. Ian, I'm going to ask you, what's the next real goal for you, sir? What are you looking to solve, scale next? I know you got
And that's a
new
great question.
construction, new development. Yeah,
I mean, I think I'm really in that lane of where that vision that I had years ago of where I wanted to be, right? I have this amazing residual business, and then I have this investing side. I'm building a new portfolio of a new construction. So I've put myself in that seat. I mean, I've surrounded myself with the right people. I mean, last week my builder partner and I were walking homes with my other builder partner and finance partner that I put those two guys together, and they're building, multi-million dollar homes. So we're walking through, we're on our hands and knees, touching the museum finish. We're, looking at the trim, there's literally no baseboards or no trim around the doors or just flush mount, all kinds of wild stuff. So I think where I'm at in the business for myself is perfect because I get to flourish in a creative way. When you build a house from the ground up, you got to be really, really creative, right? Just from the footprint of the home and then the elevation of the home and then the finishes of the home. So I've made it full circle to where I feel like I'm really right where I want to be, right? I'm building homes from the ground up, and I have a residual business that helps fund all that. So I mean, other than hitting the $1 billion lottery, there isn't
yeah,
really,
yeah, right, right.
you know what I mean? Like, and I'll,
Yeah,
here's something too that I've noticed about myself and my business of how I've been able to make it through the markets is I'm still living in the house I bought 20 years ago, right? I never upgraded my house. I could have easily had done it, but when the market pulls the rug out from underneath you, then you're facing bankruptcy, right? You stack up the debts and try to flex. I mean, I drive Toyotas. I got a Tundra and a 4Runner. They're paid off. Like we had lunch yesterday, and there was a Bentley, a Ferrari, and all these sexy cars, and I'm just smiling, looking at them like I could have you if I wanted, but I'd rather have a house, right?
man.
I
Yeah,
built a house for
yeah,
350. It's worth 550. It's like I can't buy a Ferrari. I guess no, there's a different story to that, right?
yeah,
I can't buy
yeah,
just a
right.
regular exotic and then a year later sell it for 100 more than what I paid for it. So I think it's all relative. I think I'm kind of past that point in life. Like when I sell this house, I'm gonna buy a mini bike. It's an electric mini bike, and I'm more excited about that than a hot rod or a fancy car. But I think I'm right where I want to be, or where I envisioned where I wanted to be, is being creative. And I think that's the most part because when you're, at least for me, when I'm not being creative, I'm in a band, I play weekly, and we're constantly creating, and it's just like I'm in this creative environment that allows me to just be myself.
Yeah, man. The more you talk, actually, the more jealous I'm kind of getting, Mr. Ian. But when
Well,
you say
man, I
I'm
can't.
right,
I want to see you on Zoom. Because I am fascinated with gospel drummers because they are just lighting it
yeah,
up.
yeah. Oh man, yeah, man. Yeah. You said it best. There's so many drummers now that I grew up with that's just doing just phenomenal things, and so, yeah,
Calvin
yeah,
Rogers.
yeah. Matt, listen,
I
man,
know we
you
can get
on it.
off on really easy on a tangent on that,
Listen,
but
exactly, exactly. So just I want briefly because you've talked about your partners that you have. The way I listen to you talk, it sounds like you understand the importance of relationships. You talked about networking being your superpower. So I just want you to briefly talk about your views on building relationships. Like, is that important to you? Do you put a high value on that? Like, has that made a big difference for you? How is building relationships
it's
impacted
number
you?
one. It really is number one. I think about back in the day, when I first started to scratch into real estate, I started going to an investment club, North Texas Association of Real Estate Investors. And they were a group of guys that, one was an appraiser, one had a construction business, another guy owned a brokerage, they all had different roles. One guy was in a lending position. And I saw these guys, come together once a month, and I started building relationships with them. And in the very beginning, one of the gentlemen, he was nice enough to be humble and teach me and let me come to his job site. So I leveraged that credibility when I was trying to raise money from other people, say, hey, come check out this project we're doing. And they'd come over and it would be Mark's project. But he knew what the game was, right? We're working together to try to bring people together to do more business. So relationships are number one. And in the beginning, you're really nervous, at least myself, really just nervous to put yourself out there because you're trying to figure it out and you don't know what you don't know and all that. So, but what you will find out is even people like myself at this level that I'm at now, when I meet people that I hit it off with, I give them my number and I say, call me. I was going through a car wash. This guy called me. He's like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this house. What do you think? And I did. He's like, oh, I needed to hear that today. Thank you so much. And that gives me pleasure to be able to help him. So I think the relationships are so important. Like I just mentioned a minute ago, I sold a beat up house. It was a crazy transaction. I got a lead from a friend. This family was losing the house to foreclosure. The dad died. So there was all these moving parts and we were able to get through them all. And then when I sold the house, I did a 1-day showing and I made everybody come through me. And everyone was like, why are you doing this? And I'm just like, go look at the house, go look at the house. There was two gentlemen that I met that I'm still friends with today, both multi-millionaire accredited investors. And one of them was a gentleman that I sold the house to. We collaborated. And then after that house closed, he and I went on to do 32 flips together. From one person that I met at an open house where I was the agent listing a beat up house. So those relationships are so important. And even today, I met a builder, 10 years ago that I stayed in contact with. He built custom luxury modern homes. And I was just fascinated. And he was so nice and so humble and so giving of his time. For an example, that same gentleman 2 years ago, I represented a client here locally. We bought a $1.2 million home and they were like, hey, do you know a contractor that can build? It's like, absolutely. So I already had the relationship with a custom home builder that was an amazing guy, because that's the fear, right? Because
Yeah.
the fear of referring someone to a client or even someone getting a referral because we've heard so many horror stories about contractors, which contractors
Come
need to
on.
clean up their act anyway. But they
Uh-huh.
spent $800,000 and did a remodel, and the house was stunning. It looked brand new. So those critical relationships are how I've been able to continue to connect and do business. So I told Randall and I, after we'd done a lot of flips, we both said we want to be in new construction. He wanted to build bigger projects because, he's got a hell of a lot more money than I do. He's 25, 30
Yeah.
years older than me. But
Yeah.
I connected them two and they went into business together and they're building 2 homes right out of the get. So
Yeah.
he built 2 homes, I built 2 homes. So I connected with another builder partner and we're building in that, $500,000 and under range. And then I have my custom builder that can build anything, from
Yeah.
whatever up. He's building $5 million homes now. So back to the relationships, the strategic relationships that I have with my business partners now. When I say business partners, I call them business associates because we're not in bed
Mm-hmm.
together on companies. The days of that happening, you really don't need to do that. You just need to have agreements in place. You don't need to, go so heavily in partnerships with people. Most of the business I've done with these guys have been handshakes. The Texas handshake's pretty important. So, but just being a few examples there of relationships that I've nurtured over a decade that we're still doing business today. And then another relationship, a buddy of mine, Chad, he's in the land business. We kind of cut our teeth on the sales side where developers will go buy, 500 acres, they chop it up into 1-acre lots, they bring out a sales team and we sell the dirt that weekend. Well, he went on to create his own company and I had lunch with him. It was like a 3-hour lunch because he was trying to recapitalize a $6 million asset. It was 1,000 acres. So I'm having those types of conversations. And then on the flip side of that, another gentleman that I met over 10 years ago works for a multi-billion-dollar company here locally that I can bring a land deal to. I brought him 400 and something acres. This was a couple years ago. And then the next day I sent over a $9.8 million offer.
Yeah.
Back to those relationships. So when you meet really great people that are willing to give you their time and attention, you hold on to
Yeah.
those and you
Yeah.
build those over
Yeah.
time.
So clearly, you just walked us through how important relationships are to everything in this space.
Number one.
I'm yeah. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna try to tell you why I think I get this feeling when it comes to you specifically about when I listen to you talk. I have this thing where I say now, and I borrowed it from somebody, and it's helped me so much. People respond to responsibility differently. Sometimes responsibility can drown a person because it's like it's too much. But I started looking at responsibility like this. Responsibility is your ability to be able to respond. Sometimes we try to do too much because we don't have the ability to respond sometimes where we are. And we got to learn more. We got to be more. We got to change our mindset. But as I listen to you, it seemed like in every aspect of your life, you have, I'm not going to say mastered, that might be too strong of a word, but you have an acute awareness of to respond based on your ability. Whether you're a hairdresser, whether you're multifamily, whether you go to new construction with your family, it seems like you have a unique ability to respond based on your ability. And you use every part of your ability, creative, artsy, whatever you got, you use that to respond in everything that you're in. And I think for me, that's what I hear when I talk to you. And I think that's why it's so refreshing because I'm watching you pull on years of experience, years of networking, years of different tools, years of just interaction, interconnecting with people. And that's what I hear. And so this has been very, very refreshing, Mr. Ian. Listen, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out to you, connect with you, collaborate, learn more about what you're doing, what's the best way for them to get in contact with you, sir?
I mean, I'm pretty much out there, holding a real estate license in Texas. My information's public record anyway.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Facebook, YouTube. I mean, there's multiple ways. I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yep, you can
yeah.
just go to my name.
There you go.
But we're good.
Listen, yeah, listen, man. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for your time, for your story, for your perspective. This has been great, man. I appreciate you coming through today.
You got it, man. Anytime. Glad to do this for you guys.
Absolutely. So listen, y'all heard Mr. N. Y'all heard the value. He's dropped nugget after nugget. And so listen, subscribe so you can just keep coming back when the alarm goes off, when the alert goes off, so that you won't miss out on these amazing people just like Mr. Ian. So, sir, I thank you again. And to everyone else, we'll see you on the next time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.